Right. Welcome to Tribulation 5/15/2011. Today is July 28th, 2012. My friends, we have reached day 450 of the tribulation, my personal witness and testimony to the tribulation that is unfolding right in front of me. I want to apologize this morning for being kind of disheveled. I had a late night. I was watching the opening 2012 Olympic ceremonies, and it went, till midnight or whatever, and I had my mom over and whatnot, so I kind of got to bed late. But, as messy as I look, I'm no messier than the rest of the world is right now. The whole world is disheveled, and it's easy to look, disheveled. I hope I'm saying that right. But, when the whole world is spiraling downwards into chaos. Out here in San Jose, California, it's overcast, kind of like earthquake weather, and today, we basically have a really big earthquake watch going. The big event is we have Saturn coming out of Virgo for the second time. The first time was on 11/11/11. So Saturn comes out of Virgo. Mercury aligns with the sun and the earth, and we've been having all sorts of crazy sun activity. So today, we're going to keep an eye out on what's going on with the sun. We had a bunch of earthquakes about 2 days ago. Yesterday was kind of quiet. So we'll have to see what happens today. But, around the world, the chaos continues, man. Extreme flooding in the United States, from Indiana all the way to New York and Boston, Massachusetts. They had these super thunderstorms called the Derechos. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but you know what? It was a long night, and I got up early, and I'm only on my second cup of coffee, so my brain isn't functioning quite right. But my friends, we are neck deep in the tribulation at this point. The craziness across the globe continues. The Syrian massacre continues. The fighting is escalating. There's disease breaking out everywhere. Like they just said there was Ebola breaking out in Uganda. Disney World had some kind of breakout. Israel had some kind of disease breaking out in the Golden Heights. There's flesh-eating bacteria. There's, AIDS that can't be cured. So the third or the fourth horseman, disease and pestilence is alive and kicking. Yesterday, our beloved President Barack Obama, God bless him, first black president, Nobel Peace Prize winner. He hasn't done anything to stop what's going on in Syria, or the violence is breaking out in like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, or India, or anywhere else around the world. But you know what? He signed a security and peace agreement with Israel, which is kind of worth taking note of. It was H.R. 4133, the Security Cooperation Act with Israel. And that could have major implications because, if you read any of the prophecies of the Bible, it talks about signing a covenant for 1 week, And right as it seems like there is peace, destruction breaks out. And, my friends, that sure as heck could happen, if you look at the current conditions around the world. Today is kind of like an occult day, on the satanic calendar. It's like their main holiday. It's like Christmas for them, the Red Bull Stratus Project, which is sponsored by the Red Bull energy drink company, is this dude Felix Baumgartner jumping out of a balloon in a capsule. He already did it from 17 miles up, and now his goal is to do it 18 miles up, 666, and falling to earth. I saw a star. I saw a star. Felix Baumgartner, he's a star, man. The whole world is watching him do that free fall from 18 miles up. the white buffalo that was born about a month ago. The Indians are doing a ceremony today to name the white buffalo. My guess is they might name the white buffalo Honeybee. It's just a wild guess, but we'll have to see. And, honey, of course, is, an occult symbol. Bees and honey represents the Illuminati and hidden knowledge. And, when you eat honey, like in the Bible, you get illuminated. All the people that are eating honey in the Bible are illuminated. And the locusts, eat honey. So that kind of brings us up to the big event, which was last night, which was the opening ceremony of the Olympics. And, ceremony, ritual, I don't know what you want to call it, but, I was kind of tripping on the whole thing. And just so I'm not saying that every person in the Olympics is evil, because it's just like anything else, like the Freemasons. There's a whole layer of people at the bottom. They're just clueless, where they have no idea what they're doing. They're innocents, or they're even good people, but they're in a belonging to an organization where at the highest levels, the powers of principalities are sinister and making evil plans. So, of course, at the opening ceremony, we saw the Queen Mother jump out of the plane and fall to Earth. That's kind of symbolic. And, she's an old bat. Like, why we even have kings and queens on this planet anymore is beyond me. And I personally, I don't like the royal family. They're parasites on, society, And of course, that there was her sons, and it was all the royalty and regalness of the royal family. And you know what? That's all sinister as far as I'm concerned. That's all ruled by secrecy, Illuminati. None of the poor people. Like they were celebrating English culture. Well, Oliver Twist. That's one of their most famous stories, when he was starving and begging for more porridge. Can I please have more? You know what? The royal family was in the palace dining on steak and turkey. So, I got no sympathy, or, I don't look at the royal family as this awesome thing, and people, they saying, God bless the Queen. Oh, God, please keep the royal family in place. No. I'm the exact opposite. I'm not praying for their destruction, but their destruction is coming, my friends. That's the paradigm shift. That's the pyramid getting crushed, But anyway, the opening ceremony was this big, elaborate event. If you looked at the stadium, all the lights were pyramid-shaped. Is that just by coincidence? And we've already gone over all the occultic stuff. The fact that the 2012 logo looks like Zion. And they even sang this song that all these little kids were singing. It's like a British song. They say it's almost like their national anthem. But it's a song about New Jerusalem, which is, what do you think that is? That's Zion. But... the whole production of the opening ceremony was kind of like a tribute to the history of the British Isles. I would actually call it a tribute to man, or Manasseh, and in the Bible, as far as like the end time prophecy, it's the two sons, the Egyptian sons of Joseph, and Joseph was the son of Jacob. But they're kind of like part of the prophecy of the scepter of Judah falling, And Ephraim is the United States, and Manasseh is the British Isles. So a tribute to man, a tribute to Manasseh. And, even my friend, one of the ones, he threw up a couple of videos talking about Moses and manna, and what manna was in the wilderness. And it wasn't good, my friends. But Manasseh, manna, And I think if you look at Judges 13, the father of Samson, his name was Manasseh, or something along that lines, which kind of sounds like manna. But manna is something that tastes like honey, and looks like gold. And, the Olympic is all about gold, winning gold medals. And of course, that was in the ceremony, as the ceremony proceeded, and they went from the olden days of where it was paupers and rich people, then the industrial age where they literally poured out the gold and forged a golden ring, Lord of the Rings, my precious. And, that ring was raised up and met 4 other rings in the air, the 4 golden rings. What does that represent? Nothing godly. And, speaking of which, I know people will say, they'll say, the Olympics is not a religious event, So, God, isn't there. You know, because it would be unfair, you know, if you pray to any particular God, because that would offend somebody else. But you know what? I'll agree that's what it is. But then, you know, here we got the biggest event in the world. They said there was over 1 billion people watching it, and yet it was completely godless, you know. And in fact, it was more occult-like, you know. And, you know, I just say that's a sorry statement, my friends, because an event of that magnitude, God should be in there somewhere. Because if you think Jesus or God is up there looking at that event, which is the glorification of man, you know, run faster, run higher. You know, their motto is stand together and we will reach perfection. You know, that sounds like, you know, what Satan was trying to do, to ascend to the heavens and become God. And you know what? We're not gods. But that's kind of what the Olympics is, Mount Olympus, you know. The false gods. But, you know, it was an amazing show. They forged this golden ring. They had this hill, and at the top of the hill was a tree. I'm not sure if it was what it was supposed to represent, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge. But at one point in the show, the tree gets ripped out, and all sorts of people start popping up out of the ground. You know, I thought that was kind of symbolic of what's coming, my friends. The locust coming up from down below, you know. And as the show kind of progressed, they reeled out all sorts of little kids. And, you know, that's basically how the dark side is working, is they love to go after the little kids first and foremost, you know. And, you know, they put them to sleep. And, you know, that kind of is symbolic of where the world is now. We need to wake up, you know, and see the light, not fall asleep in the darkness. But all the little kids were put to sleep. And once they fell asleep, what happened? All the dark evil spirits came up. There was all these goblins running around, and then the spooky queen of hearts, you know, the queen of your heart. Well, you know what? Who is the king or the queen of your heart? You should have God in your heart, not some spooky evil spirit. And, you know, one of the, you know, there's all sorts of occultic things happening. You know, they said the opening day ceremonies, they invited everybody out to Potter's Field to celebrate on, you know, July 27th. Well, 27:7, you know, verse 27, or chapter 27, verse 7, I think, in the book of Mark, I think it is, talks about the Potter's Field and how the Pharisees spent the 30 pieces of gold to buy Potter's Field to bury Judas, the man who betrayed Jesus. You know? So then, here in this ceremony, you know, 727 relates to the Bible and the story of Potter's Field, and yet the celebration was at a place called Potter's Field. And then in the middle of the ceremony, they have all these evil spirits come up, and then there's this huge evil spirit in a black robe, and it was the evil dude from Harry Potter, Potter's Field. You know, why are all these dots connecting? And I don't even know what the dude's name is. Mortimer, Mormus, it doesn't even matter. You know, it's satanic. You know, that was death, evil. And you know, who came to save the day? Oh, well, not Jesus, man. It was Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins popped on in, came down with an umbrella, and it was magic that saved the day. You know, the false Antichrist, you know. But, you know, don't even ask me what the heck was going on, but as the evil spirits disappeared, there was this huge baby in the middle of the Olympic Stadium, and the announcer even said, they had like an overhead looking at it, and he said, man, I don't know whether that's cool or creepy, you know, and was it a sacrifice? Was it saying something's being born, like Saturn coming out of Virgo? I don't know, man, but, you know, it was definitely some kind of ritualistic, you know, part of the overall presentation. And then, you know, as the ceremonies progressed, eventually they had all these doves coming out with wings flapping, but they almost looked like angels, you know, like the fallen angels, and they flew around the stadium, and then one of them flew up, ascended, you know, into the skies, and it was all about world peace, you know. But that's a false world peace. There is no world peace, man, unless God himself, Jesus Christ, is coming down to establish it. And then finally, the climax of the whole thing. Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney, the Beatle. And you know, the Beatle is an occultic symbol as well. But, you know, the first thing he sang was just a little clip of a song, the ending of a song, where he says, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. And you know what? What a false statement, man. You know, and in the end, that's the truth, you know, because we are in the end times, the end of one age, the beginning of another age. But the love you take, you know what? You don't take love. Love is given freely. And the love you make, You know what? You know, making love is fornication. It's sex, my friends. But, you know, if you're going to get spiritual and godlike, it's all about giving love, you know, freely. Love is given. You don't make love. You give love, you know, and you are given love. So his whole statement, the love you take is equal to the love you make, you know, that's just a big lie and a falsehood, man. But then, you know what? His final song was, "Hey Jude, don't make it sad. Take a song and make it better." All right, well, you know what? Judas, Potter's Field. You know, to me, it all kind of ties in together, my friends. So, what does it all mean? I don't know, but 7/28/2012, July 28th, is a big day. Happy birthday, world. You know, we're on the verge of marching into the new age. We already marched into it. You know, the Venus transit was the transfer of power on multiple levels, both good and bad. But maybe today marks the official birthday, you know, where, you know, these things that are manifesting both good and evil, my friends, is being born, you know, like starting to really physically manifest itself on our planet. You know, I'm going to have a little bit more to talk about this kind of stuff over at Operation End Times. But, you know, it was a late night, so I'm going to kind of wrap it on up. Tribulation 5/15/2011. There's a bright side to all this thing. You know, that's the manifestation of the kingdom of God, you know, being a light unto the world. You know, and the Olympics, you know, I hope the America kicks ass, but, you know, there's nothing about God. You know, the Olympics belongs to the kingdom of Satan, unfortunately, because it's about the glorification of man, and God isn't there. All right, think positive, make sure where your heart's at, you know, who's on the throne of your heart. Make sure it's Jesus and God. You know, don't be worshiping gold, don't be worshiping man. Go out and help somebody, do something nice. Take a minute out of your busy day. Maybe give somebody a sandwich or some food, or do something nice. That's what I'm going to do, my friends, and I'll talk about that later on Operation End Times. All right, I want to bless everybody out there. I want God's blessings to flow out to everybody in the world, including our beloved President Barack Obama. All right, stay thirsty, my friends.